Oh, what a pity I had to come on, I tell you.
I'm not saying a word.
That was great.
You spent some money on these chairs, though. Flipping heck.
Real quality, aren't they?
Yes. Should have gone to DFS, David. Carol's
Steve,
still giggling away.
I don't know what's happened to my jacket.
You'll get that back.
Okay. Steve, you grew up in Bournemouth, became a Christian in your teens through the Boys Brigade, left school at 16, worked for Barclays Bank for 5 years, then left to train as an evangelist. Why?
Well, as you said, I became a Christian probably about the age of 13. I heard about the Boys Brigade, and I heard there was a Girls Brigade. So I thought, well, that's stop it, Carol, cackling away there. But I also learned you could play football on a Saturday. You had to go to church on a Sunday, and I thought, I can kind of put up with that. And to be honest with you, David, it was a really dead church. You know, it was so dead, it should have been probably buried about 50 years previous. We kind of went through the rituals. You know, it was very dull and very boring or whatever. But we went away on a summer camp, a BB camp. We had a wonderful time in Devon, getting sunburnt and messing around as boys do. And there was a vicar there who believed in God. I know that seems a silly thing to say, but he really did. And he spoke about Jesus as if he was alive. And I used to think I had this idea of God, you know, this sort of Father Christmas type figure floating about on a little white fluffy cloud, wearing a Marks and Spencer's white negligee. Do you know what I mean? With a great big stick about to hit people on the head if they stepped out of line. And I heard, I think probably for the first time that I understood that there was a God in heaven who thought I was flipping fantastic. And didn't just love me, but actually liked me as well. And we were given a little booklet that we called Journey Around the Bend. It was actually called Journey into Life, and it had a little road sign like that. So we thought it was funny. I guess you had to be there. And it talked about having Jesus as your very best friend, saying sorry for those wrong things in our lives that we all do that kind of separate us from God, believing Jesus died to take the punishment our sins, our wrong things deserve, and asking God to live inside us. And I thought, this is absolutely incredible. And I thought this is either the biggest load of rubbish you've ever heard, or it's true. And I thought, well, if it's true, I've got nothing to lose. And I remember vividly coming back from Axmouth in Devon, coming home, dropping my suitcase in the kitchen, running upstairs, getting down on my knees in my bedroom. And I said with all my heart, as a 13-year-old could, God, if you're there, come in and change my life. Because I figured if there was no God, nothing would happen, and I had nothing to lose, but everything to gain. And I believed at that moment, God came into my life, and he changed me. And I carried on with a little booklet. It said, within 24 hours, tell someone of your decision to follow Jesus. So I went and told my dad, who clipped me around the ear and said, what have you done? Beeping, things like that. That's stupid. But God got hold of my life. And I was just so kind of captivated and excited by it. I thought, I've got to tell people. And I'm an evangelist, and evangelist is a technical term for, you know, someone who tells others the good news. Because, as I said this morning, good news is for sharing. And good news is infectious, and it's wrong to keep good news to yourself. It really is. So from that moment on, I left school at 16, worked for Barclays Bank for 5 years, and I kept praying and saying, God, look, I'll stay in Barclays Bank, I'll be a manager, I'll do all sorts of things for you, just speak to me. And one night I was at Spring Harvest working as a steward, that's all I thought I could do, shift chairs. I felt God speak to me through someone who was speaking up the front. And God said, I'm calling you to be an evangelist, calling you to tell others. I told my mum and dad, and I was about 20 then, and probably about 6 months of constant disapproval and all sorts of really negative stuff from them, you know. It was really very hurtful, but I knew God had called me, and I knew I had to do this. I went on a 1-year training course with an organisation called Pioneer, Gerald Coates' network of new churches, a thing called TIE Teams, that stands for Training and Evangelism. And I was seconded to work with a guy who used to use escapology to communicate the gospel. And I was interested in magic and escapology through Paul Daniels, absolutely true, through seeing Paul Daniels make an elephant disappear, you know, with the lovely Debbie.
Yes.
And put the two together.
Yeah. So that's really how the entertaining and the escapology came.
They kind of came at the same sort of time, really interested in magic, and I thought, what a great way of communicating. It's so different from, you know, black flares and sandals and beating around the head, beating people around the head with the King James Bible. You know, it's just kind of different, and it's got me into places where I would never normally go if I was just preaching. You know, TV, radio, and all sorts of amazing opportunities. You know, every year for a few years, I went over to Mexico City, and I was top of the bill on the Day of the Dead. You know, Mexico City's, well, South America's biggest occult festival. And I'd be on stage and there'd be a coffin there, there'd be people in black robes, and I'd come and perform and escape from a straitjacket and do some tricks and talk to them about the Lord of Life. And I'd say, who wants to meet him? And we have 300 Mexicans stream up and say, we want to meet Jesus on the Day of the Dead. Occult festival.
Wow.
How daft is that?
That's amazing.
We did it the first year, they invited me back the second, I was on the poster.
You came back the second year?
Yes.
That's fantastic. Could we talk a little bit about your family? Because I know you brought your wife Rebecca and the kids with you tonight.
I think this is probably the first gig they've ever all been on.
Really?
Yes, come on.
Oh, that's lovely. You've got 4 children by your first marriage.
Yep.
And your wife Rebecca has 2 children from her first marriage. I know how important all 6 children are to you. But I know I've seen you entertaining tonight, but how do you keep 6 children entertained?
Just got to have a system. Got to have a system, haven't you? I was a single dad for 5 years with 4 children. And I'm mainly gigging at weekends, so it was kind of fun. You know, we'd be organised, I could cook and... I wasn't great at cleaning, but I paid someone to do that, to be honest with you. £10 a week. Carol, if only you lived nearer. There we are. I'm sure we could negotiate with Carol. I could do it all apart from hair. I could never do girls' hair. But as you say, I've got 6 now. 16, 13, 11, 8, 7, 6. Wow. Strange names I know, but you know, I kind of like them. They're sort of easy to remember. So I could never do, having 5 girls, I could never do hair. So Amber, where's Amber? It's my lovely little Amber. Stand up, Amber. What's wrong with you lot tonight? There's Amber. Amber was so great with cooking, and she would tuna pasta bake. Very, very good. We had that a lot.
But you must have crisis after crisis, I'm sure.
We had a wonderful time. Children are such a wonderful blessing, aren't they? Yeah. Take them to school, getting involved with the school. I'm a governor at the school as well, so being really involved. Yeah. It's kind of easier for me with my lifestyle, because in the week I would write and do all sorts of things, and mainly Friday nights out on the road and Saturday nights.
You love your children and they're a great blessing to you, but you're a bit of a DIY disaster, aren't you?
When it comes to DIY,
tell me about the green fence.
So embarrassing. Fellas, who's good at DIY? Give us a shout. There we go. Who's terrible at it? There we are. You know, as men, we're meant to be good at these things, and I thought I would spray paint my fences with Cuprinol, and I'm a big gadget man, love gadgets. So I got this amazing spray can, 15 litres of green Cuprinol in there. I was in the back garden with my daughter, tipped it all in. It cost me about 60, 70 quid. Pumping it all up, pump, 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 and I suddenly heard this hissing. And I could hear this hissing down the bottom, and I hadn't read the manual, obviously, being a man. And I thought, well, what's that hissing? So it's all meant to be, and I put all this, I don't know whether it was a vacuum or whatever I created in there. So I saw this little nozzle down the bottom hissing. So I turned it, and I kind of turned it the wrong way. And I was covered from head to toe with 15 litres of Cuprinol. It was even in my eyes. It looked like something out of the Incredible Hulk. And I was laughing so much, and Amber saw every moment. Wasn't that hilarious, darling? So every time I do DIY now, I say, get a video camera out, because at least we can make 250 quid out of this. But seriously, you know, I pay people to come in, even putting up pictures. I would rather pay someone, I really would.
I said in the introduction that your wife affectionately calls you Del Boy. And what's this got to do with this business that you've got called Doves International?
Oh, now, thank you for the plug. I appreciate that. Might I just add, it's all in the book, ladies and gentlemen. 21 years on the road. I have brought out a book called Paper Thongs and Other Misadventures. And I'll maybe tell you why we've called it that. But yeah, for 21 years, been out on the road doing all sorts of things. I work with many churches, and some churches aren't as fantastic or as generous as this one here tonight. And so it's always nice having a few sidelines. So I've done sort of many things over the years. I've done a bit of extra work. I was in an insurance advert, went up for Muller Rice, lost out to Keith Miller from EastEnders. Asked if I wanted to dance in a gay club for an advert. I didn't really fancy that. And all these sort of silly things. And then I was down my local chatting to my mate Martin, who keeps pigeons. And I thought, well, wouldn't that be a fantastic little business, supplying white pigeons, white doves, of course, David, for funerals. And of course, they are homing pigeons. So we actually take them to the funeral parlour, and they're actually released at the graveside. It's a very, very emotional moment. Don't laugh, Carol. And they fly home again. 10 minutes later, they're back home ready to go. Listen, you're laughing, but you'll all think about doing it.
I'll tell you, that beats
Mark
Peckham
Mitchell's going to
Spa.
franchise this around the country. What a great little business, eh? And we do weddings, all sorts of things.
So that's how the Del Boy...
She calls me Del Boy, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What do you think, Carol? Do you like that idea?
Yeah.
Carol's all for it.
Yeah.
She's praying now. She's doing this.